What's it like to rent in Courtney? Finding a house in Courtney is quite hard to do. There's no doubt that there's housing available. It's more so making it affordable.
Oh, housing's huge.
The state of housing in Courtney at the moment is in a critical flux.
The more faster the housing is built, or they're taken before they're even built.
There's a lack of affordable housing, there's a lack of apartment rentals, there's just a lack of lands. The word that keeps coming up for me is lack.
Like the government just got a 2.5% increase to rent for the landlords, another 2.5%. Us homeless people on disability, welfare, or pension can't afford to be paying $850,000 for a tiny little box like I'm living in.
Not a lot of affordable housing, let alone any housing. Yeah.
The lack of affordable housing in Courtney and the Comox Valley is a very compounded issue. It's a huge issue with many, many different reasons. Starting with, funding being cut for social housing.
A lot of the available jobs would be a lot of hands-on work, construction work and stuff, or it's a retirement town, so there's not a lot in the means of work unless you're doing construction or you're in the military. Other than that, you're looking at a minimal wage job at some form of restaurant or at a Walmart or something like that.
I can't really touch on exactly what job opportunities are happening in Courtney. I do know from speaking with organizations like the Chamber of Commerce that there are a lot of businesses who have job postings available and they can't keep staff or they can't hire staff because their staff has nowhere affordable to live, so they're moving to other communities.
I was a healthcare aide and then I got into a car accident, so now I'm on disability.
I am currently a sheet metal mechanic. I've actually been doing that. Started out when I was in grade 9. And I'm almost a journeyman in the trade. I almost have my red seal, and even with that, with making $20 an hour, I still struggle with finding affordable housing in Courtney. It's insane.
How long have I been living in Courtney? I'd say about 23, 24 years. Well, it was better today. Better than it is today. There was more jobs. There was steadier jobs. I didn't notice back then the homeless situation. It's very sad. It should never be as bad. There are some provinces in Canada where you hardly even see it, but provinces like BC, there's too much of it, there's a lot of it. Things have to be done to change it. Canada is such a rich country. There's no need for all this sadness and poverty and struggling.
I'd definitely say it's a big problem here. A lot of people like to turn their heads to it.
I collapsed I can't remember what it was about. I was taken to the hospital and I was in there for a couple of days. And one day the RCMP came and see me, said my tent had been burnt down, including my scooter right here in this field. This is some of the abuse, things that homeless people got to put up with too. There are punks that'll go around trashing campsites, and very rare that it happens, because everybody's pretty well protecting their stuff. There's always somebody around to look after their camps too.
Yeah, like you gotta, you have to hope that you have 2 people per tent so that one stays behind as the other one goes out, and then the other one comes back and the other one goes out. Like it's horrible.
Okay, as you know from behind me, you see this is one of the tents. We call it sort of like a village. Don't worry, we've got no faces. And we're just doing let you know that these people are desperate, they have nowhere to go. This is what they're stuck with. This is only one about maybe half a dozen places, never mind about 4 or 5 probably other places in the valley. And eventually they'll be kicked out of here like they're everywhere else. So this is what we need, housing, because of this.
In 2018, back in March, the coalition conducted a point-in-time count. We interviewed 117 homeless people. 58% of those were considered to be absolute homeless, so those who were sleeping outside in tents. And the other folks were those who we call hidden homeless, so people who were couch surfing or sleeping in RVs.
I personally have been homeless for periods of time, on and off, living in cars, couch surfing, propping up tents. I've had friends who have been and are homeless, and we have homeless communities built in this town, and it's something that a lot of people like to turn a blind eye to, and it's something that definitely needs to be more spoken about and dealt with, not just frowned upon and thrown to the side as their own problem, because it's not their own problem.
One of the big things that came up was that there's just nowhere for people to go. The shelter is often full during the winter.
There's one shelter and it only houses 6 women and 12 men. And I mean, like, there's, I don't know, I can count right here in this one, I can count, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of us here. At the other one, I think there's probably like 12. And like right there, you've overdone the shelter. And that's not including all the other ones that they have.
The City of Courtenay, municipal government, those who are working in social service agencies have a lot of ways that they can help those who are homeless.
They can help looking into making more affordable housing, not available housing.
Advocating for the need for supportive housing, the need for more apartment rentals, affordable housing across the continuum.
They could start opening up more rehabilitation centers, utilize places to open up training centers to help these people who are rehabilitating from being homeless or drug addicts to gain skills to help get a job when they're out.
Transitional housing for people who are going through recovery from drugs and alcohol, and so many more types of housing.
My dad always said that the 2 things people need in life, human beings need a roof over their head and food. That's the 2 things that every human being should have. Oh no, things haven't changed for the better in Courtenay. Things have definitely changed for the worse. Definitely, and there's no doubt about it. You can just look around.